Hello, hello, hello. So this is part 2. We never actually filmed an introduction, so this is what we're getting. In this part we talk about a lot of things. Mostly I can't remember what we actually talk about, but I know that it's good, and I know that you should definitely listen to the whole thing. That's about as far as my introduction is going to go. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
I didn't think, when we started the podcast, I didn't think about that this is going to be public and people are going to actually listen to it.
Oh, don't worry, Mario. It will be edited. All the good bits will be cut out. Are you going to any more competitions this season?
Yeah, like this weekend I'm going to go off to Sylt again. I'm really not motivated and I don't want to go there because I hate Sylt.
Oh, wow.
I think James would agree.
I actually love Sylt.
Nah, shut the up. No, there's the German championships. I'm gonna do them, and then the rest is gonna be spontaneously, mostly because I have a lot of projects going on, like the clothing label I'm doing right now, and then I run a YouTube channel, which is probably like the thing I do most.
Yeah.
Can I say it like that? Like this is like my main project.
Oh yeah.
And then there's gonna be a couple side projects. In the end, it's like so much stuff. I'm gonna go spontaneously to the competitions this year.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other topics you wanted to talk about? Slalom, foil?
There's a lot of topics.
May as well we'll just throw one in there.
Wait, I like. First of all, tell me about your project. How's the podcast going?
Well, we're currently filming with Mario Kumpel. So far, he's been the worst guest we've had so far, and we've had no guests.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Actually, we have. That's a lie.
You had a guest?
Yesterday, we filmed a podcast with my mother, and then I lost all the audio. So I just told my mum to not bother. We'll film it with Mario instead. Yeah, it's me again. I probably should make a note now to say that we might, more than likely, are going to do an episode with my mum. But we just didn't really want to talk about the same thing for a second, maybe even third time in a row, because we would have just all been so dull and not very interesting. So I just thought I'd put this in there because I really like having a roof over my head.
No, I'm gonna.
Right, so Mario, since we have a guest on here, we'll make the most of this. Yeah, is there any other like big topics important?
Yeah, it's actually exactly that topic that I want to talk about.
I have a question. No, shut your mouth, Mario.
James,
I've got one.
No. I was also thinking in the shower, like no joke.
Yeah.
You guys are probably in the top 100 best windsurfers competition-wise on this planet. Like you guys are probably.
Jesus.
Stop. No,
I
like
think you're
seriously,
wrong,
you're probably one of the best. Like James was at the IFCA World Championships. You finished what?
Canal, 26th, I think.
At the World Championships, you know? I don't know if you were at the World Championship, Casper.
No. Yeah, I won it.
But I think...
Well, he was just at the PWA qualifier and he finished 7th.
See. So if it was in any other sport on this planet, any other sport, it wouldn't matter what sport.
We would be
and
rich.
you were that good. You would have enough sponsors and you would not have to complain about your foil money, whatever. You would not be there like working
every day. I think
months
about that,
to
Mario.
finance your season.
Yeah, look, we could even be professional speed clappers. You ready?
Oh man.
That was.
You know,
Oh, you've
I'm
got
going to have
some
to
speed
cut a
there.
lot of this
No, but
podcast
anyway,
out.
Mario, keep going. What you
Yeah, I don't know what my point was. I just think that's an interesting topic.
Every day I think about that, Mario. Every day.
That people are absolutely underpaid in this sport.
Oh yeah, every day I think about that.
The industry
yeah.
is really fucking up a lot of stuff.
I think a lot of riders are really putting in a lot of work, and the professionalism. Actually, I was at this event in Croatia and we were talking with some people, some quite important people in windsurfing. Actually, they were saying also how like windsurfing has changed because 12 years ago, there was so much more money to share around. People were like, it was a bit more relaxed, you know. People were pushing and professional, but they could still party and still have a good time and enjoy themselves more, but still get paid and still make a living from it. And now because there's so much less money to share, and they were saying everyone's having to push so much harder. The atmosphere is not quite as relaxed anymore. Everyone's actually really serious about it now because everyone wants that little bit of money, which is just at the very top. And like a lot of riders are really putting in so much work, and I feel like obviously you can't create money. Doesn't grow on trees. Yeah, you can't create money from nowhere. But like,
But there, I
It's
actually
just
think
messed up a
there
bit.
would be enough money.
I think
I
like,
think
yeah,
they're just doing it all wrong. I don't like the marketing and the branding of the sport. It's so insanely bad. I mean, I think you talked about that topic in some of your earlier podcasts
we did it, but yeah, we mentioned it. I mean, how like,
when it was about social media and stuff like that. And I'm like, there are no YouTubers in this sport, so no young people can relate to the sport. There's
Yeah.
no huge Instagrammers, like just some. It's just, and all those people are missing out because people don't get paid if they do exactly that. If you guys had, I don't know, 5,000 followers on Instagram, for that you still would not get your gear free. No brand would say like, here, take the gear, make cool photos, promote it.
yeah.
It just wouldn't happen because the brands don't even know what Instagram is.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think like a lot of the riders are putting in so much work, but the brands aren't even realizing the value of it. This work
Yeah.
is not appreciated so much. Like, but like everyone's pushing a lot, and I think like, yeah, actually,
But
do you think, Mario? Do you think
no.
windsurfing right now, like, if you saw it as like a graph, growing, stable, or dropping?
Actually, I think I'm not sure if it's dropping or stable. I think I think there's being an illusion built because slowly but surely the windsurfing industry does understand what social media is. And so there's like more and more photos and videos. And because we were never used to that, we now think, oh, the sport is like booming. But I think if you look at the numbers of the companies, how much money they make and stuff, I think it's either stable or going downwards.
But
I'm pretty sure.
But I think I think that's just due to problems from like both ends. Like at the very top, the PWA and everything like that doesn't have the viewers that it should do. The PWA is the top of the top. It's the Formula One of windsurfing.
But I think the
And-
PWA is actually doing a very
well, I mean,
good
the
job.
organization has to.
I think they're not responsible
Yeah.
to get the viewers. I think that's the job of the
And
riders.
do photo shoots and
But
everything.
then you're asking the riders to do everything.
No,
You're asking the
no,
riders
no.
to test equipment, make sure that everything's
Oh, yeah.
good for competition, compete, and bring in the viewers. Like then
Yeah, you don't have to bring in the viewers like that. I think there's personalities missing. For example,
Yeah.
fuck, the PWA probably started right now. I'm gonna watch the replays then. The thing is, I'm watching Wave right now, and I'm like a Ricardo Campello fan. Like I was in the .7 team some time ago, and then I got fan of all the .7 team riders. I don't know why. They just did a very good branding, and I'm a fan of Ricardo Campello because he actually shows personality. There's something, you feel a connection to that guy because he's fighting like he has no, I don't know, right now he has no sponsors. You're just like, come on, dude, do something. And if you look at the slalom PWA, there you don't have any relation to anyone, not even Antoine Albo.
There's a few. I guess it's all the ones that you've met in person.
Yeah, but
And that's for us. Like for me and Casper, when we're watching the PWA, we support guys like Jordi, Ingmar, Sebastian Ködel, Nico. Basically, a lot of the guys who are in Tarifa or that we've met in real life.
But now imagine you're a regular windsurfer, not a professional, and you don't know anyone. What are you watching the show for? Like to see Antoine Albo win like he does all the time? You don't give a fuck.
My mum went, fun enough, she said this the other day, my mum went to a course racing event in the UK. They were doing raceboard, techno, RSX and foil, I think. And Ross Williams could have walked down that beach and not a single person would have known who he was.
See?
He is undoubtedly probably the best British windsurfer, and he could have walked down that beach at a windsurfing event and not a single kid, parent, adult windsurfer would have known who he was.
And now, to like complete the thing, if I walk down the beach here in Germany or at Lake Garda, wherever, there's like people coming to me. They want to make photos with me. They want to chat with me. They're like real fans. And I'm not even like bullshitting. I was at Lake Garda for 7 days, and there were probably like 50 people I talked to, and half of them were like serious fans, like they were nervous talking to me. And for me, that's like a really strange situation because I feel like I'm actually like pretty retarded. But no, like, you know what I mean.
Oh, for sure.
I can't explain that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, but that's the key. You need to, in some sports, in the bigger sports, just results could get you known and famous, basically. But in windsurfing, you need to be a personality, and you've become a personality through your YouTube channel.
And we've become personalities through complaining relentlessly.
Yeah, exactly. Through that,
Yeah.
And oh man, what would I say? Yeah, it's just because I show personality on YouTube and people actually can relate to that. So people become fans and they cheer for me, they root for me. If I'm at competition, it doesn't matter if I'm first or last. They're like, come on, dude, you're gonna make it. And that's the only thing you need to create a fan base. You need to show your personality and then find people that can relate to you. And that is something that is missing a lot in windsurfing. And I think that's...
But how do you create... How do... Obviously, us
so
three
simple.
can create that. And
It's so
anybody that's
simple.
listening who is aspiring to be a professional windsurfer can now take this information and go forward. But how are we going to change windsurfing as it is now? What can you do? You can't go around to every guy in the PWA and just give him a little speech.
You have to create a show somehow. And if the sport is still too small, so the PWA can't create the show because there's not the budget or whatever. Like you told it yourself in your previous podcast where you said rivalries, whatever, like people putting out statements, just show who you are. Like
I think esports are probably the best representation of like rivalries and things like that, because they have they used to, not anymore, but they used to have a small segment where the two teams or competitors would just sit opposite each other and would just talk shit and would just insult each other and just try and get...
with esports, I remember I was a huge esport fan. Those guys, like, they stream on Twitch.
Yeah.
Like, it's a streaming platform where you can watch other people gaming, and they just show their personality, and then you get attached to the person, you watch the competition, and you're like, come on, dude.
Yeah.
But if you now watch the PWA, man, who do you care for? Either you care for the top guys because they're the best of the best, and it's just a joy watching them, or you're like, the guys personally.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that
Well, maybe it's to do with, I agree. I mean, I definitely agree. Like, there's no one that really stands out that much. But in their defense, maybe they are just having to push and focus so much they don't really think about that.
Oh man, my battery is running empty.
The level
I
is
have
so
to,
high. Like you,
I'm gonna change the place I'm staying in.
Yeah, I agree that what Casper was saying though, like the riders, I hope you can hear me, Mario. I think the riders have so much to focus on if they have to do that as well. So now, if you're making a small list of things that professional riders have to do, they have to test equipment, get ready for competition, make sure they're fit, compete, and show personality, get a fan base behind them.
Look.
And at events, you have to rig up a lot of equipment. You have to eat well because they're all big, heavy guys. Windsurfing uses so many calories. You gotta stretch, eat well, all that.
I don't think it takes that much. I think it takes only one thing. Don't be a pussy. Like, seriously, if you look at the Instagram stories of the professional at their posts, and especially at their interviews at events, like, they don't have to do anything. They just have to talk. People film them. Always the same bullshit. It's a great event. I really hope to do better the next time. Come on, who cares?
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. I think, actually, I think I know partly why that is, but we should just get over it because windsurfing is such a small sport and such a small community. I think people are just scared of making, enemies.
But you have to.
Making
you have to make enemies. If you don't have any enemies, you'll stay small forever.
Yeah,
I think people should just
it's like the
accept
marketing
that.
101.
That's the way it's going to be.
You have to create your own brand, and then you have to. It's it sucks because it's English. I can't really explain. But you have to create your own brand, and then there's got to be a opposite brand. It doesn't have to be a real brand, but you have to have an enemy so people like can cheer for you.
Yeah. And I do think that the replies and everything that the pros are doing on the like PWA stories are just very vanilla. There's nothing like
vanilla.
And I think a lot of the content that the riders are putting out as well is they're very distant from their personalities. You know, there'll just be a clip of them just windsurfing, and it'll be like, no, it's sick. You can do loops. You're fast, and blah blah blah. You've got all this, but like at the end of a 2-minute video, you know, you've not heard them speak. You know nothing about what they're like. You know,
you were thinking, you think it's a nice clip, but then you forget about it right away. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't want to like put myself up, but when I do a video blog on YouTube. Like, I'm not the best looking, I can't talk the best, but I just film the reality, and I at least try to not give a single fuck. And that's why people don't forget about it, and they're like, oh, I want to see more of that. Because it's actually interesting.
You know
because you can you can relate to it. Because no one's perfect, and people, like, they're sick of relating to perfect people, you know?
I want to see more. I don't know if you guys remember, but I remember in Vida Sand last year, I think, Wojtek and Nico crashed, and Nico made a big post calling Wojtek out, saying, chatting shit to it, and I just thought,
that's good.
Yeah, this is what we need.
Because he's angry.
And the fact that he did that, like, it was 12 months ago, and I still haven't forgot about it.
Yeah,
I can't name another post from any other professional windsurfer where they've posted something and I've not forgotten it.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a very competitive sport, and especially in a PWA with no rules, it gets very sort of aggressive and very contact, like full contact pretty much. Everyone's pushing and crashing and pushing. It's like part of the excitement, part of the sport.
Give you aggression.
So embrace it, and
in fact, yesterday, where I watched the PWA stories, and when Mark Paré goes to Estredo, he cried.
Oh man, I instantly followed Mark Paré's Instagram and became a fan.
Yeah, like we met him on the Spanish tour.
You're real, man.
Yeah, I felt that. You feel the emotions. You're like, I want to feel that one day. You're like, that's great, and it was. We need more things like that, showing the extremes.
Yeah, we should. We're gonna get Mario as so just so everyone knows, we're gonna get Mario.
You've been a good guest.
Yeah, we're gonna have Mario as a recurring guest.
We can have you on again.
I actually.
Maybe we'll do that like once a month. We'll get Mario on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's also. Yeah.
I think it's been good. Yeah. I mean, we started on foiling, and then in the end we went a bit off topic, but I think we covered a lot.
So we want to make a resume for the last topic.
A resume?
How is it called? Like. In Germany, it's like a resume.
A summary.
It's something French.
Like a summary.
A summary?
It's like summary, yeah.
I think he means like a summary.
Yeah. I think the summary of what we were talking about is that we all feel the same, that there is a lack of personal attachment to the top riders in the windsurfing sport, and that makes it really hard to become a fan, and that might be one of the reasons why there is not enough viewers when there's a live stream or something.
I have this one more question which I was going to ask earlier, actually. I forgot I need to ask it now. I asked you, I said, do you think windsurfing is like stable, dropping, or going up? You said...
we were asking that... sorry.
Yeah, well, if you think it's stable or maybe even going down a bit, like how is it possible that we have so many new brands being created? Like, just in the last 1 or 2 years, you've had like FMX Racing, you've had... Phantom Sails. You have the Arnon de Gans brand. What's this called?
Futurefly.
So that's free already. Yeah. Free brands already. Any more? Has there been any more in the last 2 years?
I think it's because some of the guys in the PWA got old, and they want to make a living of windsurfing also when they're like even more old. And it's just time now where all of the guys that earned some money back in the day get old, and now they start founding companies. But it's actually, I don't know if it's good for the windsurfing market, because the cake is just being split into smaller pieces.
Yeah, but surely they had to do their market research before. Like if like if personally, if I had, I don't know, like I researched and saw the numbers. I don't know what the numbers are, but if they weren't good, then don't go into that industry. Don't make a brand. Don't force it. You know.
I think they actually, for them personally, it will work out because they are like persons that represent their company, and it's not like with Taboo or Starboard. Like you don't feel personally attached. You don't care. You would only buy the product for the product itself. But if you buy a Future Fly board or an FMX racing board, you're supporting an actual person, and I think that's why that might actually work out quite well. And for the brands already existing, it might be a big pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I think that's why Formula One works so well, because they've got riders that are attached very strongly to brands. Lewis Hamilton and
Mercedes,
Vettel and Ferrari and things like that. Like you.
Do you think? Do you think we should do more windsurfing? Obviously, individual sport, but shall we? Do you think it would be maybe better to do more sort of like team rankings and stuff? You know how there in a PWA there is a constructors ranking, but no one really talks about it that much and looks at it that much. What if there was more of a team thing? So it was like Team Starboard actually was, like pushing for a good team result also. Like maybe that would be cool. Like I don't know, just an idea.
Maybe that it would be like Formula One now.
Yeah. That would work really well.
But I don't think anyone would be. Would you be interested in it? Like personally? Would you care?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I think that would be pretty cool.
I think it's only as good as the brands commit to it. So like in Formula One, there's no reason for anyone to actually care who is the constructors champion, but because the brands care so much, everybody else cares.
Yeah. Okay. You made a point there. Yeah. I agree.
And I think it would be cool to see the riders working more as a team and having rivalries between teams. And, for example, like Neil Pride, the JP team, really training together and doing things together. Like, it would be cool, I think, maybe.
Actually, I think that would be very interesting. And it's very simple to do. Maybe someone...
Yeah. Because, for example, in professional cycling is the same thing. It's, in theory, individual sport, but they all work as a team, don't they? And, like... team dependent on the sponsor and everything, and like you could have yours like 3-4 main teams and then a few small teams of the smaller brands, and maybe I don't know, maybe it would make things better, worse, no idea.
I think I
agree.
I think like in events like Japan, where they had the tents where all their equipment was.
Yeah.
If you had the Starboard tent, the Neil Pride tent, and as you were going along, there's different tents.
Yeah.
Where all the riders were, with a.
That's
team
so good. And the brands with the best results get the biggest tent and stuff like that. And then it's like there's a small Future Fly tent, and they work their way up. So good.
Yeah, and like the brands for that team, I think it works out maybe better also for like transport and everything, because already riders help each other out. Sometimes they will drive together to events, fly together and everything. But like if it was done more in teams, also more like official, have like a team van, a team training spot, and like.
But then again, it's not.
Maybe.
They're not actual teams. I think that's the problem. They're all individual riders.
Well, yeah,
that's what we're saying.
True,
that's what we need to change. That's what they maybe should become teams.
I don't know.
Yeah, like in some other sports which are in theory individual sports, they still do a lot of things as teams. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. That's a good topic maybe for another time.
Yeah, for another podcast.
So that's where I'm going to cut episode 3. It was a great episode. I think it was. We enjoyed filming it anyway. Hope you enjoyed listening to it. If you want to send any of us a message, talk about it, start a discussion, feel free. Comment on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. We'll hope you'll be here for the next one, where it'll just be me and Casper again, back to the same old. So yeah, we're going to play the outro now, and hope you enjoy.
But what I actually wanted to say is, if you made it to the end of this podcast, you probably enjoyed the show. And if you want to support James and Casper, you can share that podcast with your friends, which would be very nice, because how many views did the last podcast get?
I think the last two got 100 each, so we're at 200
100
total.
each.
Yeah,
See,
baby.
okay, we wanna get this podcast to 200. So you can help us doing that. And that would be actually quite nice because they can't afford foil gear, and we want to change that. Yeah, see, it's free content. So if you want to give something back, if you enjoyed the show, share it. I'm out at this point. Please
So
cut
this has
out.
been Sundowns Weekend podcast. Thank you